You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome to My Dog Digs Dirt. I'm Lauren Collier. So here's a question for you. If your dog is a couch potato like my Inoki, perhaps you're looking for something that might get them off the couch. Well, this might be just what you need. Have you ever seen a dog dock diving competition? It's wild. Dog dock diving is a rapidly growing canine water sport where basically the dog jumps off a dock to catch and retrieve toys. It's really an organized sport now. It started making headlines back in 1997 at the Incredible Dog Challenge, and it was an immediate success. When we come back, we're going to meet the owner and president of North America Diving Dogs, a group that started just 2 years ago and already has over 4,000 dogs involved. Maybe your pup can get involved too. Stay tuned.
It's hard to find time for your furry family member. That's where Camp Bow Wow comes in. All-day play and overnight camp, daycare and boarding for dogs. Everything is included. Large play areas for fun and exercise. Spacious cabins, comfy cots, even live camper cams to watch from a computer or smartphone. Camp Bow Wow offers the best care and is the place to go where a dog can be a dog. For locations and more information, visit campbowwow.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
My Dog Digs Dirt is back, and my guest is Debbie Markwardt, owner and president of North America Diving Dogs, the fastest growing dock diving organization, which just started 2 years ago. Thrilled to have you, Debbie. How did you? Yeah, I love this sport. Love it, love it, love it, love to watch it. Haven't gone to an event, but I'm going to go this year. How did you get started doing this?
I got started approximately 10 years ago when I had a Doberman, my breeder Doberman, and she just loved the water. And we would spend hours going to the lake or going to a pond that I have and just throwing bumper after bumper. And she just loved retrieving the bumper, and that's how I got involved. I thought I'd start her in some of the competitions, and we just had a lot of fun with it, and she enjoyed it.
Did she have special training, or was basically the training the fun that she had?
Just the fun. We started out, I've got a little pond in front of my house, and I just threw the bumper in it, and she was a natural. She just went in and swam out to the bumper and got it, and I've got a little ledge where it's probably about a foot off the water, and she just started jumping right off the end of it. Then we used to go down to the lakes and just go off the piers, throw the bumper and throw off the piers, and she just loved retrieving that bumper and swimming.
And actually, she did very well in competition, isn't that right?
She wasn't the greatest dog. She wasn't a top dog, and probably about 5 years after that, I bred her one time and had a litter of puppies. Wanted a female, and I kept her, but we also had a male little litter that she stepped on his foot at 5 weeks old and broke it. And the person that the dog was sold to was kind of leery, so I ended up keeping him, and he kind of grew on me. He was just a sweet old boy, and we happened to go to the pond again, and he was just like her. He was a natural, but he was awesome. I mean, he was like your dream dog, Here I have this dream dog and no place to actually compete because there was no place in Dallas or even Texas to compete at that time. So I built a dock and purchased the pool and built a facility on my place where we could train in that. And I took him to, he took me to places I would have never dreamed about, like the Pretty Incredible Dog Challenge and that. And he taught me a whole lot. That's how NAD got involved, got started. I mean, just because of my two Dobermans. I wanted people to experience the same fun that I had with my dogs.
Well, it's amazing because you don't think of a Doberman. This is why I love this sport. You don't think of a Doberman as, being one that would sort of be swimming, right?
And that's the whole thing.
Right.
I mean, all breeds are versatile in any sport. It's just that the owners, go out and take the time and get a good bond with your dog by enjoying some fun activities with them. Most of the performance sports are for all dogs. I mean, there's lure coursing, there's dock diving, there's agility. I mean, nothing's really for one breed. All dogs can do it. And that was my purpose behind Dobermans is everybody said a Doberman's afraid of water. Right. No, they're not afraid of water. You did not introduce them to the water. Once you introduce them to the water, they enjoy just as much as any other breed does. And since doing that, I mean, there are only like 3 or 4 of us that had Dobermans that did the dock diving. And since starting this, I mean, Nad's got now over 75 Dobermans that have titles on their dogs.
Amazing.
So it's just introducing your dog to the water and getting started, and it's a great sport.
Now, you have 4,000 dogs now involved.
We have 4,000 dogs in less than 2 years.
So all different breeds, you're saying? Do you have any Bouviers? Because I have a Bouvier.
The little small Yorkie dogs, Min Pins, all the way up to the Great Danes, the Mastiffs, Connie Corsos.
Wow.
I mean...
Any Bouviers? Yeah. Do you have any Bouviers?
I think there's one Bouvier.
Okay, I'm going to get mine off the couch and do this. Now, for those who don't know what this is, Deb, explain exactly what the sport of dock diving entails.
The sport is that we have a swimming pool that we set up, and there's a lot of permanent facilities. It's approximately 21 feet by 41 feet. There's a dock that's built at the end of it that's 8 feet wide by 40 feet long, and the dock sits 2 feet above the water. And what you do is throw a bumper or your dog's favorite toy in there, and they will jump off the dock. And we measure by the distance where the base of their tail breaks the plane of the water. And that's the distance we measure. And there's 5 categories. There's novice, which is 1 inch to 9 feet, 11 inches. Junior, 10 feet to 14 feet, 11. Senior is 15 to 19 feet, 11. Master is 20 to 23 feet, 11 inches. And then elite is over 24. Amazing. So wherever your dog breaks that plane of water, that is what your score would be. So, I mean, if most beginner dogs are right in the novice and junior level, and so you have to get 5 jumps within that distance, and you will get a title in what division that is.
Oh, so you get a title on your dog.
Uh-huh. And the titles are also with North American Diving Dogs. We're the exclusive organization for the American Kennel Club. So now those titles can go on your dog's pedigree, showing that your dog is a versatile dog, can do anything besides being a champion or have agility titles. They also can now be recognized for dock diving.
Wow. Now, but the dog doesn't have to be a purebred to do it, correct?
No. We accept any breed of dogs, spayed, neutered. Any dog is welcome in our organization.
Are there a certain type that excels? Like I see border collies always do good in agility and, some of those things.
I've got to say, people ask me that question, and, it used to be more, people really thought it was for a water dog, like your labs and your Chessies and stuff like that. But the thing is, those dogs have been in this sport longer than a lot of the new breeds that we bringing in. So as we're progressing, now we're seeing more dogs getting up to that competition level, So, I mean, they say the labs and Malinois, but I've seen border collies. We've got a Doberman that jumps 25, 26 feet.
Wow.
I mean, so it's just other breeds trying to catch up now is what it is,
Yeah. Like you said, don't be afraid to try. Just because you think your dog might not, they might really like it.
We have about 90% success rate with dogs.
That's fantastic. So you mean some just don't like it, so that's...
There's some that is just couch potatoes and just have never done anything, but the majority of the dogs, yes. I mean, and it's a summer sport, and the best time for dogs that are kind of skeptical is when it's very hot because the water feels good to them. And so, that's the most important part about it is introducing your dog to the water and having it successful and learning how to swim. And we put a life jacket on. We go in the water in our pools with the dogs, hold them, get them to learn how to swim and feel comfortable around the water. Once you do that, then the toy and the drive of that, going for the bumper, is secondary. And then after that, we go off the dock,
Yeah,
but it's just getting your dog. I mean, anybody can do this at home. Just find a lake or a pond and just have a life jacket on it. Throw the ball out a few feet. Leave the dog get their feet wet. Come back and progressively throw the ball further and further. Once your dog gets comfortable with the water, it's game on then. I mean, both the owner and the dog have a great time at it.
You could see. I mean, why wouldn't they enjoy it? Definitely. Now, are there facilities that you can train at if, say, a lake isn't close to your home?
We've got almost 20 facilities across the United States right now. If you go on to our website, NorthAmericaDivingDogs.com, and click hosting facilities, all those are also training facilities. Everybody's starting to open up now because it's April and the weather has broke. So that'd be a great place to take your dog. And if you want to cut down expense, like I said, just get your dog familiar with water, and that helps us out a lot, because then all we have to do is train your dog to jump off the dock.
Does it take a long time to train them, or does it depend, Debbie, on the dog?
Every dog and every breed is different. Some dogs we can do in 5 minutes. Some dogs it might be a week, or a couple lessons. But, like I said, it's all about building confidence with the dog in the water. That's the big thing. You just don't want to have a bad experience where the dog goes under and feels threatened, where its head goes under and gets scared. I mean, then you're taking a step backwards.
Absolutely.
And that's why we recommend coming out to a facility so your dog don't have a bad experience, and everything's positive so they can have fun in the sport too.
I think that's important. Now, what about the sport? Are there different types of competitions? Is it just the distance jump, or sometimes do they go against each other?
We also have what you call air retrieve, and that is we have an apparatus that sits outside of the pool, and the bumper is hung permanently on an apparatus, and it starts out at 6 feet. The bumper is 2 feet off the dock, and the dog has to run and grab the bumper off the apparatus. If the dog is successful at 6 feet, then it moves to 7 feet. It moves at 1 foot increments out. So that's another discipline we got. We also got what you call vertical, and that's an apparatus on the dock, and the bar goes out 8 feet, but instead of going out 8, 9, 10 feet, the bar is set at 8, but it starts going up. So the bumper is set 4 feet 6 inches from the top of the dock and goes up in 2-inch increments from there.
What about world records? Is one of them, I heard, like 31 feet?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Isn't it amazing?
That's with a Labrador out of Story, out of Ohio, and they're one, J.D. McKnight in Story and Rhonda Lee, they're one awesome team.
But it seems like, and you can get a title, of course, if that's what you choose, but just the fun of it would be enough to want to get you and your dog involved. I assume it's fun for you too,
Right, and like I said, my first Doberman wasn't the biggest jumping Doberman. I mean, when we were in competition, she was only like 16, 17 feet, but she had a great time. I mean, and all the great people you meet there, and other dogs and that, it was like a picnic, where we all had a great time together with our dogs, jumping our dogs.
That's fabulous. And you have 3 Dobermans, Sky, Chaos, and Riptide, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Riptide's my new dog coming up. I lost Connor last April at 4.5. He had spinal cord lymphomia. We were headed to an event, and he went lame, and we ended up in Auburn, and that's where he had cancer tumors in his spinal cord, and I lost him within 2 weeks. So,
how heartbreaking.
Yeah, he was my dream dog, my ultimate dog. So I've got a new boy, Riptide. He's 9 months old, and he took his first jump off the dock probably about 2 weeks ago.
Did he do? Yeah. Well, I imagine it's also good exercise for your dog.
Well, not only, yes, and you can compete with North American diving dogs when your dog is 6 months old, enter into competition because it is safe on their growth plates.
Okay, that's
I am a firm believer that with some of the activities, you have to be careful. You don't want to damage their growth plates because it will affect them in the long run, such like agility. You want the jumps down low and all that. Well, in dock diving, the dog is landing in water. So therefore, it's easy on their joints, and it's good exercise. I mean, for conditioning, it's just as good as doing road work with a dog that's older, but here you've got a young dog. You know, everything's real safe on their joints.
And can a dog be any age?
I start my dogs out at 8 weeks old getting acquainted with water. The earlier you can, the easier it is, you know, so when they grow up. I believe anything you put in a dog up to 6 months, that's what you will get out of a dog later on in life. So anything I can introduce my puppies to at a young age, I do.
That's a good
And so that's how I start mine off. And if not, if you got an older dog, it's not that. It might take just a little bit longer. You know.
Don't be afraid to try.
You still can do it, you know, and try. You know, I've had one lady, she worked a year getting her Doberman to like water. It was 2 years old. But it finally, there's an on switch on these dogs. Don't quit. And I'd be a millionaire if I could tell you what the on switch is. But it's like tomorrow, that dog, it clicks in their head and, oh, this is what you wanted me to do. That's what happened with this dog. She kept on. She did not quit. And she kept on teaching the dog to swim, getting in the water for a whole summer. The next summer, the on switch came on, and now she's enjoying, and the dog, I mean, is pulling her up on the dock to, let's go jump, you know. So, like, you know, just don't quit and give up. Like I said, there's an on switch, and that's the $1 million question. When is that on switch going to click?
But give it a try. Okay. We're going to take a short break now, but when we return, we're going to have more on the sport of canine dock diving.
I'm a U.S. Air Force member stationed overseas, and we have 3 rescued mutts. Stone Phillip was to be euthanized. There were bacteria crawling all over his skin. They called it elephant skin. It was rough, wrinkly, like a Brillo pad. He was in constant misery.
DINOVITE.com.
We started feeding him the Dynovite, and his skin, it's a 180 turnaround. His skin has cleared up. He's not in pain. Stone is in excellent shape today. He runs, stays slim and trim, and follows my husband around like he worships him. I would highly encourage you to get a rescue dog and start them out on Dynovite right from the beginning, and they'll make such a difference in your life. Call 859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
Or go to Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Begging to hear more of your favorite show? Full episodes of all our shows are available on demand. Go to PetLifeRadio.com to fetch our entire lineup of Possum Pet podcasts. Also, dig us up in iHeartRadio Talk and iTunes. Let's talk pets. Live and on demand only from Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
My Dog Digs Dirt is back with Debbie Markwardt, owner and president of North America Diving Dogs. Debbie, were you surprised at how popular the sport has become and is getting? I mean, you've been doing it 2 years officially, really, and you've got over 4,000 dogs involved.
Well, not really, because starting North America Diving Dogs, I worked almost 8 months with the American Kennel Club. And, you know, dock diving was just you'd see it at fairs and festivals, put it that way, which is not really a dog environment. And so when we created North American Diving Dogs, we were going to take dock diving to the dogs. And by doing that, that is where we have introduced so many dogs. We've got 3 portable docks, one in the northeast, one in the southeast, one on the west coast. along with all our facilities. But with these portable docks, last year we took them to the big AKC clusters. And a cluster is where 3 or 4 clubs get together. They have conformation, agility, and obedience. And so we took our portable docks there to show people that are in these other sports, another sport to introduce their dogs to. And so, I mean, we're talking like 3,000 to 5,000 dogs that see this when we go to one of those clusters.
Wow.
And after you're done showing them for the day, there's really nothing to do. So we had the try-its there along with competition, and it just exploded from there because everybody's seen how much fun we had with our dogs, and they wanted to see if their dogs could do it.
So
I mean, that's what we've been doing is introducing it to the dog world,
right.
Right where the dogs are.
And it's also organized. So let's, so people understand that. But anybody can take part. Is that right? Anybody can take part. When we go to an AKC cluster, we have what you call the try-it, and it's $15 for the day. It's 3 minutes on the dock. And in between competition, we have people with the new dogs there that can try it. And we have trainers there that'll help you get started and try to explain something to you, what your dog needs. Every dog is different. From there, we hope you continue on at one of the facilities and get a top jumping dog, or just have fun in it and get titles on your dogs like we do, Yeah, I think it would be really fun. Are there prizes too, or is it just the title, or does it It's just depend? Titles. Well, we do have what you call, we are very thankful to Eukanuba this year. Eukanuba is our sponsor for our portable docks. And we have our big competition in Orlando, Florida in December. It's the Eukanuba National Championship, and they have conformation and agility in that. For the past 2 years, we did the dock diving there. Last year alone, we had 275 dogs jump in our championship just in one day. Amazing. And so with Eukanuba on board this year, our champions are going to be, and we do have qualifiers so that if your dog is good enough, can try to qualify to compete in that in December in Orlando, Florida. That's wonderful. So you don't just have to watch it on TV anymore. I mean, I've seen it on TV and I love it, but you can go to an event. So let's tell our listeners how they can find out where your events are and how they can get involved in their hometown. Just go to our website, NorthAmericaDivingDogs.com, or also we have a Facebook page and a group, North America, that's without an N, Diving Dogs. And just go there, and all our hosting facilities where you can train. Our upcoming events are there. We're constantly putting new events up as we get them. So just look there. I mean, we've got over 75 events scheduled for this summer so far. And there's a lot of new ones coming up. We've got approximately 5 new facilities that will be up and running in the next 2 months. So just keep on watching our Facebook page because we are growing fast, and as fast as we grow, we put them on the page. Fantastic. Debbie, thrilled to the bone to have you here today. I love this sport. It's just all positive, fun for the dog. That's what we want. It's positive and fun. And, it doesn't take a lot of training like obedience or like agility, where you have to train your dog for 6 months or a year. I mean, this is something that most dogs can catch on pretty fast, and, you can have fun with it. Well, I think it's terrific. So once again, and you're on Facebook too, North America Diving Dogs. Be sure to check them out, look them up, and take part. So thank you, Debbie, for being here. And thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in. We hope you'll continue to tune into My Dog Digs Dirt. I'm your host, Lauren Collier.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.